Okay, we'd like to welcome back Kenny Miller, Chaim Leza, from his efforts in Eretz Yisrael to feed the troops. Right? You think he'd bring back us a little beef jerky, but no. So we'll have to make our own. Baruch Hashem. Okay, we're up to Ayin Zayin Amid Beis. We're in the middle of the sugya of Chalala. Just to go ahead and I guess set the table. There's two distinctions of psulim. This distinction that's psul kahal, and then this distinction of psul kahuna. So psul kahuna would be someone amal l'kain gadol grush v'chutz l'kain hedyet. That's a unique thing to a kain, which would be permitted to us. But psul kahal is across the board. It's pasul kahal, so, and that would create what's called a pasul of zayna. So says the Gemara the following. Well, with a coin, we're up to Ayin Zayin Rebbeis 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 lines to the bottom. Amalera Papala Baya. Yisrael Abala Lachoso. Now, clearly, if someone's with his sister, Zona Mashvalei, that will make her a Zona. I mean, that will make her a Pasal Kahuna Zona. You know, not Chalo, but a Chala, but a Zona. Now, here's the question: Chalola Mashvala or Loy Mashvala? Does it make it a halal or not? Now, he's not going to be permitted to the Kohen anyway, but would be over on a second lav. You know, it says, we know that it makes her a zona because this is a psul of znus that's universal. Again, it's not a psul that's limited to the Kohen, it's a universal psul. So this would go ahead and make her a zona. Does it also make her a halala? And nafkamina would be if Kohen is with her, would be chayiv twice. Loy mashvala. Mi amin kal v'chaymer. Following kal v'chaymer. Mechayve lave have chalala. Right. Isuri kahuna is chayve lavim. Alman l'koyin gadol. Gerusha v'chutz l'koyin hedyu, which is a lav. So mechayve krisis like kol shekain. A man's with his sister is a chayve krisis. So kol shekain would make her a chalala. Madach chayve lavim makes a chalala. Certainly chayve krisis would make her a chalala. Aidilma. Ein chalala ela me isra kahuna. Maybe the ability to make a chalala is only limited to isra kahuna and not what isra klau. Amalei. So Abaye told Rav Papa, Ein chalala ela me isra kahuna. The chalala is only from isra kahuna. Only from isra kahuna. That's only from there. Bilvad. So Amar Rava Minoham no. So how do we know this? Dam Rabbana Ein chalala ela me isra kahuna. The Tanya. Okay, so now we have two psukim. I sent them out, guys. It's simply the two psukim that you should have. It's much easier to go ahead and reference them to see them together. So here's the two psukim. The pasuk says by a regular kohen. So here. What? Yeah, in a million years, you can't have any psukim, right? Okay, let's get this up here for you. Okay, so the pasuk by a regular kohen. Isha Zaina v'chalala lo yikachu. An Isha Zaina, again, someone who had relations with, again, like with psul, arroyos, shifcha, a mamza, v'chalala lo yikachu. The Isha gerusha me Isha lo yikachu. Ki koydeshu lo yikachu. Now, this is speaking about a regular kohen, guys. The next pasuk speaking about a kohen gadol. Almana ugerusha v'chalala zayna. Again, is it necessary to say almana? No, you just said it by kohen hedyet. Is it necessary to say a gerusha? Right? Almana. No, excuse me. It is necessary to say almana. It's not necessary to say gerusha v'chalala. You already told me by kohen hedyet. Kohen gadol is not worse, right? Es ela yikach ki besula mi amav yikach isha. From besula ba'amav you should take. Lo zarei ba'amav. You not, if he does take them, his children will be mechalalim. Keni Hashem mekadshay. So the kohen gadol has an addition to what? To the gerusha and chalala and zayna. He has what? he has a almana. Now, l'chari, that pasuk by Kohen Gadol, you had a lot of extra limudim because you already stated it by Kohen Hedget. So that's what the Gemara is going to focus on, guys. The Gemara is going to focus on those psukim, the extra psukim that it said that says by Kohen Gadol. So again, what's our focus? How do you know halala is only from chayve? Right, it's from kahuna, a union that's limited to kahuna and not psul kahal. Says Gemara Milsadam Rabbana in halala misri kunutanya la yama gerusha b'Kohen Gadol. You should not say a gerusha by Kohen Gadol. V'teisei b'kavachayim and b'Kohen Hedget. And you learn that from a kavachayim from Kohen Hedget. V'na amina, I would say the following. Hash l'Kohen Hedget asura a gerusha zasa l'Kohen Gadol mi boile. So lama nemra. Why does it say gerusha by Kohen Gadol? Kishem shechaluka gerusha mizayna v'chalala b'Kohen Hedget. Just like there's separate lavim. If a man is with a Kohen is with a gerusha who's a zayna who is a chalala, you be chayiv on each and every one. Kach halucha b'Kohen Gadol. So too they're chalak by a Kohen Gadol. That what if you're over Oman, you have one who has a triple header, you be chayiv in each and every one. Says Rabbi Pshita, Migra Gora is a Kohen Gadol worse. So why would you need a kavachayim to teach this to me? What do you have to say? Kishem shechaluka gerusha mizayna v'chalala v'Kohen Hedget kach almana kach almana chaluka migerusha v'chalala zayna v'Kohen Gadol. Okay, so too what it's almana is chaluka migerusha. Almana is chalik from gerusha v'chalal. Let's see Rashi on this. Chalal, no, before that. Kachaluka, it gets wide 3 lines down at the end. Kachaluka almana gerusha shem haisa almana ugerusha v'chalal zayna chayv kolachas v'yachas. The haydinach etana lefluge almana lechude. Why didn't you say the same by chalala? La yitzrich lefluge b'chalala mizayna. Why mishum the chalala mechlekas mizayna mikoyin hedjed kimlei? Since we learned by koyin gedol the goli begrusha koyin mechalala. Aval almana the taisa of koyin gadol which is limited is koyin gadol v'leimatzina bash and eschalka yitzrich leilamela. So far right now we only know one thing. The reason why it said gerusha, the reason why it said gerusha by koyin gadol is to mechalik. Now, chalala, why does it say chalala? It says chalala by Kohen Hedget. Why does it have to repeat it by Kohen Gadol? We're going through each one. The chalala by Kohen Hedget, the chalala lama nemra, and chalala elami issa kahuna. Right, that's what we need. You know why it says chalala? To tell me there's only an issa chalala by kahuna and not kahal. That was our mission, guys. That was our mission. Okay. Now, how do we see that from the pasuk? How do you see that from the pasuk? If you notice, it says the words. It says the words almana gerusha v'chalala zoyna. It says the word chalala after gerusha almana. It doesn't put zoyna in between. If you put zoyna, guys, is almana a din unique to Kohen Gadol? Kohen, say yes. Gerusha din Kohen, yes. Chalala a din, right? Yeah. Zaina, no. So the limit is it says almana gerusha v'chalala to go ahead and connect them to gerusha and almana. Just like almana and gerusha are unique to Kohen Gadol, so too the chalala Kohen. So too chalala is unique. You could have said the following: almana. You could say gerusha, almana gerusha zaina v'chalala. You could have put zayin in between. You know why we didn't put zayin in between? Because we want to connect chalala back to almana and gerusha, which are all unique to the kohen. So that's how we know that, and that's what we need. That was our mission to find out. Abaya tells them, Amina, from the extra fact that it says chalala by Kohen Gadol, which you would know already because it says it by Kohen Hedget, Memela by putting it there and placing it juxtaposed to the words of gerusha and almana, Memela we know that chalala is something unique to Kohen, just like almana and gerusha is unique. How are we doing? Yeah, I'm never convinced if I speak a little louder, you don't understand any better. You're good. I think it's good. Again, you see this setup, guys. It's a din that's unique to there. It says, Zaina lama nemra. Okay, now let's go. What does it say? Zaina. Nemra kan zaina. V'nemra lahalan zaina. Ma kan by Kohen Gadol zara chayin. Because in the pasuk there it says v'yichal zara. If you look, I left open the pasuk. Dafka, guys. In the parsha of Kohen Gadol, Amana Grush Chalil Zaina pasuk Yudalid, then pasuk Tezvav. So in other words, but it doesn't say in the by Kohen Hedyot, it doesn't say lo yichal zaroi. So I need the word zoina by Kohen Gadol to teach me, just like by Kohen Gadol is zoina lo yichal zaroi by being with a woman who has a din of a zoina because of a relationship she had with somebody. So and the child is chalav lo yichal zaroi. So too by Kohen Hedyot, the child is zar. Okay, good. Hilkach. Okay, now I think we're good now. Hilkach. Now that you're telling me that what? That halala is only from Isuri Kahuna. That halala is only from Isuri Kahuna. A Kohen Hedyot or a Kohen Gadol that comes onto his sister. Would that child, guys, that's all. Would that child be a Zaina? Would that child be a halala? Guys, no, listen, no. A Kohen is with his sister. Is that child a halal? A halala? No, why? Because being with his sister is not an Issa Kahuna. It's an Issa Kahal. That's Zaina. It's an Issa's Nus. She'll be a Zaina. She won't be what? A halala. You understand? Again, what? What? No, just doesn't make a difference. Well, again, so it says the Gemara, Zaina mashvala, Chaloila loy mashvala. Good. You guys, you hear this? But now, if someone would go ahead and what? If now someone would go ahead and live with her, then the child would be what? A halala. Now, the first bia makes her into a zoina, right? But a second bia of Issa, if we spoil her again, then it'll make a halala, because now this is Nissa Kahuna, because he's not allowed to be what? Right? With it, right? Chazabella asa halala. So then it's Chazabella, but she's already now a Zaina. So a Zaina already, it's in Issa Chalal. It's in Issa Chalal. Now, what about Mamzeris, guys? She Achaisa is a Chi of Karis. Charles a Mamza, right? Is a Kohen a Mamzer or not? Is a Mamzer a Kohen or not? Is a Mamzer a Kohen or not? Now I got to tell you guys, this is a huge machlokes. I found it in he quoted in the Mishnah. It's in no, I'm telling you, it's nafkamina about eating truma. Nafkamina about good. You can't do that avoid, but eating truma. In other words, with biakpada, you give him his truma. So it seems to be a big machlokes. It's Reish Samech Dalid, Yud Aleph, whether big raid, whether a mamzer is a kohen or not. In Sfar you'd say not, but there seems to be derachim to say yes. Now again, eating truma would be one example of it. So again, it touches upon it over here. It doesn't mention. It's only here you learn the sugi you're dealing with whether it's a zayin or a halala. But the fact is, Charles a mamza. We pass like Reb Shimon Amoni that yesh mamzer mechai bekrisis. This is chai karis. Okay. Amar Rav Yehuda, Kohen Gadol be'almana like a shtayim. A Kohen Gadol with an almana, he gets 2 malchus, right? Why? One mishum, because almana gerusha chalal zayna esela lo yikach, right? The pasuk says almana gerusha chalal zayna lo yikach. The achas when he lives with her mishum lo yichalal zaroi. So l'chayri is chayav what? Twice. One for taking her, and one for making chalalim by living with her. Fred Gemara v'lulka nami mishum lo yichalal zaroi, right? You said lo yichalel, and what about zaroi? What about mechalel zaroi? No, you mechalel with a bia, you mechalel. But what about a child? It says Gemara b'shlei gamar biyasa. You didn't have a gamar bia, so there's no child. Masiv Rava is asking kasha on Rav Yehuda. Says Rav Yehuda, you tell me you chayiv from almana kohen gadol is chayiv twice. I'll ask you the following question: Almana ugerusha loike mishum shnei shemois, right? Almana and gerusha gets chayiv twice. My love shnei shemois v'suloi. You loike on the bia because of 2 shemois. In other words, not for the Kidushin, but only for the bia. But almana on the Israel almana and gerusha. And I like Rabbi Yehuda that says you get it for lo yechalel. Says the Gemara, no. You know what it means? When it says Shtei Shemais, it means Yechayev for Gerusha ve'almana. But Shnei Shemais al zeh, Shnei Shemas al zeh. So again, so what does the Gemara say? If a guy's with almana, she's an almana, and stamazah you get two. Says the Gemara, if she's an almana and a gerusha, you're getting two. So guys, what's the kasha? According to your Rabbi Yehuda, you should get two for what? You should get four. Right. Two for the almana part and two for the gerusha part. Almana and gerusha. So you should get for almana the layikach and layichalel, and the gerusha you should get layikach and gerusha. But mashmi you only get two. So what's the Gemara's answer? My love shtei shemais sulo only two. Lo shtei shemais al zev shtei shemais zed. You take a chaya four. Two for almana and gerusha. Two for almana and two for gerusha. Says Gemara, ihachi ema seifa gerusha v'chalutza and a chayiv ela achas. You only chayiv once. Says Mahachi Kaman. In a chayiv ela al achas. You only chayiv one of the sets. You're not chayiv on the uloil shtei shemais. You chayiv a gerusha two. In other words, when it says you chayiv one, it doesn't mean one malchus. It means you chayiv one set of malchus. What are you chayiv for? You chayiv for the gerusha part. You're not chayiv for the chalutza part. Why? Chalutza de rabbanon. The guy should be aware. People don't know this. The issue of because you always learn gerusha and chalutza. You put them together. The din of chalutza is what doesn't say anywhere in the Torah. I just read to you the two psukim in the Torah that it says regarding right. That it says regarding a kohen. It says regarding a kohen. It says regarding a kohen. There's two parshias. It says is what it says. Isha zayne v'chalol la'yikachu v'isha gerusha misha. It does not mention the word chalutza. Like kohen gadol almonu gerusha. It does not mention the word what? It does not mention the word chalutza. So since it doesn't mention the word chalutza, where do you know chalutza now? You'd say a chalutza is from what? Is from svara. What's a chalutza? It's a shtickle like a get, right? It's a shtickle like a get because there was a zika and there was a sticker relationship. Chalutza is sticker like a get, so maybe like a gerusha, and that's the svara that she's also, but it's not the raisa. It's the rabbanon. So mameli you can't get malchus. So if she's a gerusha and a chalutza, right? She's divorced from her husband, and she didn't have children with the second husband, and the brother of the second husband gave her chalitza. So now she's a gerusha and a chalutza, and a kohen lives with her, so you can get malchus for what? Two sets of malchus for what? For gerusha, but nothing for chalutza. It's the rabbanan. Right? Says the Gemara, but Tanya, we have a brisa, gerusha, enli el gerusha, chalutza minayin. How do you know that a kohen's also chalutza? Tamleima, the isha gerusha meish. So we said that one. So it's mashma from the extra vav that is what is a din of chalutza, that is the raisa. And the Gemara midrabanan v'krab asmachta, it's a balma. It's all the midrabanan in nature, and the krobad is an asmachta. They found a place in the Torah to go ahead and be samechan. Rabbi, Kiddush loika, right? Ba'al loika, right? When the kohen gadol is mekadosh and almana, he gets malchus for the act of Kidushin, and ba'al loika he gets mice for the bia, right? Loika misho Kiddush loika mishum lo yikach, and ba'al loikach mishum lo yichalo. Rav Amar, boil loika, you'll get two for the bia, loy boil and a loika. You don't get any malchus at all. Mishum the ksiv lo yikach lo yichalel, matam lo yikach mishum lo yichalel. One is gebunded in the other. So as long as you're not machala by doing a bia, you're not going to be chai for the lo yikach. One is tied to the other. So as long as you don't go ahead and do a bia, which would be the act of chelal, you won't be chai for lo yikach, the act of kedushin. Umoida Abaya, who says you would get for lo yikach. If a man marries his wife after she had been married to another man, if he does kedushin but there's no bia, she'ena laika. Why? Because what is it saying? The pasha machzek rushasai. La yuchal ba'la rishon shilcha lashav lekachta lias leisha akre shehu tama ki sa'ovi hi lefnei Hashem le'sachti es ha'aretz Hashem lekech neisen nachala. So it says, the pasuk says the lashav lekachta. The lashon over here, lekachta lias leisha is mashma bia amrachmana v'haleka. Lekachta means lashon of bia and the lucky never had a bia. So Abaya would be moida, even though Abaya says by amanul kohen gadol, you would get an act of just for the kedushin itself would create an isurat of get malchus by Maxik Rishase, which is a lav, the Isser of would not get the act of Lekuchin of your wife a second time would not get you malchus because it says over there, Asher Lukachta Leish. So you need a bia. Lukachta Leish Leisha. Amrachmana, V'holeka. Umayda Rava, B'koin Gadol Ba'almana, Shembal V'lei Kiddush Shaloika. The Kohen Gadol Ba'almana, if he's boiled without Kidushin, that he would get malchus. Because it says loyichal zar b'amav. It says loyichal zar b'amav. Amrachmana v'ari hu chilel. And what? Even though what he said you won't get malchus for two for the act. You won't get malchus for the act of lekuchin, but you would get malchus for the act of bia because the act of bia is the act of chilel, and it says v'ari hu chilel. Shnei moedin the both moedim malchus rishasay shimbov like kiddush shein aloike because derech lekuchin asur Torah. So according to Abaya, even Abaya would be Maida, if there's a Bia by Maxuk Rishasai, you would not get Malchus. Rabbi Yehuda Amar Bas Ger Zacha Kibas Cholol. Okay, we had a big machloikus in the Mishnah. If we said everyone says, with the exception of Rav Distoi, that if a male Zacha Cholol lives with a female Jewess, that the child's a cholol. That was the Tanakama. So a cholol, a regular cholol, lives with a regular Jewess, Bas Yisrael. The child's a cholol. If he's a Yisrael and she's a chalala, then the child's not a cholol. Rav Distoi said no, that as long as the mother is right, it'll cleanse it. That was his shita. But our Mishnah was not like him. Our Mishnah said that what? Came along Rabbi Yehuda and said, "What about that's the daughter, the son of a cholol? What about a ger, the son of a ger? So the daughter. What about a ger? Bas ger zacha kibas cholol. The daughter of a ger zacha is like the bas cholol. She would be a cholol. A ger is cholol. A geiris is a cholol. So a bas ger zachar, if he's a zachar and he lives with a Jewess, the child will be just like a cholol living with a regular Jewess would make a cholol. Yeah. A ger living with a regular Jewish would make a cholol. That's the sheet of Rabbi Yehuda. Tanya Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, bas ger zachar, the daughter of a ger, a regular ger, kibas cholol, and therefore what? It's like the daughter of a cholol, zachar. But I didn't nice thing, and it's the Kal V'chaim is like this. Mal cholol shebo mitipa kshera. A cholol's father and mother. Father was the fine fellow. He was a fine fellow. Came from his father was a kohen. He's a cholol. He had to become a cholol. His kohen gadol married almana, or kohen hedjit married gerusha. Kohen hedjit a fine fellow. Kohen gadol a fine fellow. Yeah, I mean, but in genealogy they were fine fellas. Mashenkin a ger. Sheba mitipa psula, the father was a guy. Ein adin shebita psula. That's the svara. Okay, so it's like a kal v'chaim. It's like a mem. It's a svara thing. Madach a cholol that comes from kashrus. The son of that is the product of that is a cholol. A cholol makes a cholol. So a ger that comes from a tipa, it's possible. Ein adin should make a cholol. I'll ask Malach Cholol Sheken Yitzirasei be'Avera. The Cholol is good. He came from a tipa kshera, but his whole being into this world came about through Isser. Right, and Mashen came to ger l'chayra, ger married to a guy, married to a guy who did nothing wrong. So Kohen Gadol ba'Almana yochiach. A Kohen Gadol ba'Almana will disprove you. Shen Yitzirasei be'Avera. Right, the Kohen Gadol made a Cholol. He's fine. In other words, you're going to tell me the svara making a cholol is because the cholol himself came about by an avera. Guys, if a kohen gadol is with an almana, the child's a cholol. The kohen gadol didn't come about from an avera. Bitay psula, and nonetheless his bas is pasul. I'll say ma'ila kohen gadol ba'almana came be asay be'avera. Masha'en came the cholol, right, was not an avera. So cholol yachiach. So now you have two sides to go put it back in the hopper, guys. We always do this, right? Get ready. Baba Kama is coming up. The first mission of Baba Kama. Get ready. The first mission of Baba Kama. So I can't learn out from one but I can learn out from two. I can't learn out from Chalal because he comes from a Tipa Srucha. I can't learn out from a Kohen Gadol. Why? Because he comes did an Aveira. Right. It says the Gemara. So Chalal Yachiach, that he didn't do an Aveira. The Chazar Adin Lo Rizek said the denominators, the commonalities between Chalal and Almana are not the same. It's how the Shavash Abahem. What's the commonality between a Chalal and Almana and Kohen Gadol? She'ena beroiv hakahal. It's not an issa. It's different than the rest of the generation. Most of the generation, there's no problem with chalalim. Most of the generation, right, regular people, no problem with almana, right? Afani avias hot ger she'ena beroiv hakahal upita psula, right? So therefore, in other words, so I'll find a commonality. Chalal and Kohen Gadol both produce a bita. They're not beroiv kahal, and they produce a chalala. So who adin a ger, which is not beroiv kahal, should produce a chalal. Ayilis malasar shavish behind the chalal and the Kohen Gadol yesh b'im tzad aveira. The chalal is a tzad aveira, right? To create him, the amana, the Kohen Gadol, there's a chalal. Mashain came what the ger did nothing wrong. So okay, you're right. From that question, guys, we're dropping it. Okay, guys, let's stop and take. Let's get through this again. Okay, I'm talking. Yeah. And good teacher knows when they talk a lot that no one's at some point you lost it. We want to know one thing, right? And then we have boys we just throw out. Anyway, like this. Rabbi Yehuda said it then. Said Rabbi Yehuda. We all know the following, according to Rabbi Yehuda. According to everybody, if a zachar, if a chalal zachar lives with a regular Jewess, the child, except Rabbi Testoi, the child's a chalal. Says Rabbi Yehuda, not only is the son of a chalal, the son of a ger also. Son of a ger also would make a chalal. Where do you know that from? I know it from a kal b'chayma, two tzadim between what chalal and Kohen Gadol. From those tzadim. Both have in common that they're not berev kahal, and nonetheless the child is bita is psula lekahuna. Who adin the ger, which is not berev kahal, the bita is a psula. That's where we're holding. Good. We're going to ask a question on that. Both the chalal and the kohen has a tzad. Kohen Gadol has a tzad avera. The chalal was created through an avera. The Kohen Gadol alman is an avera, correct? But the ger did nothing wrong. So therefore, you can't go ahead and learn ger from those two because it's significantly different. So right now we're holding what's the svara of Rabbi Yehuda? Why should a ger be what a chalal? Good. The
says they should have you should laugh
is again, love has nothing to do with we love the moms too. No, again, mitzvahs are say we want to know yichus. We don't care about this is right versus nice. It's nice to love a ger. Don't marry them now. Anyway, it says the Gemara the following. Okay, Ella, you're right. Ema mitzri rishon yachiach. Okay, but now we're going to learn out what instead of koyin, guys, we're going to mitzri. Can a mitzri rishon, a ger mitzri rishon, marry geris mitzri rishon? Mm-hmm. Say yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. What's the child? A sheni. Can she marry in? Is bitay puzzle? Yes. Only dar shlishi. So a 1 and a 1 makes a 2. Did they do an Aveira? So what do you see? Even though you didn't do Aveira, what? Can you puzzle? And now you can't have that kasha from Ger. Well, right? So leaving Kohen Gadol out of it, I'll go ahead and substitute Mitzri Rishon. And now I won't have that kasha of what? Of the Sar Aveira, because there was no Aveira here. Says the Gemara. Mitzri Rishon Yachiach. That what? That it's roiv kahal and what it's possible. Malam mitzvah rishon shechein ein roy lovay bekahal chal yachiach. He's roy to come to kahal, just not to kahuna. The chazar adin lo rizeh krizeh. The denominator between mitzvah rishon and chal are not the same. It's tzad shavish behen shein roy bekahal ubitay psula. Afni yevis hager shein roy bekahal ubitay psula. Okay, so l'chayra we have a kal v'chaymer. For the Gemara malam tzad shavish behen shechein poislin bibi asam. Right, with the abiyah, they would pass an isha lekahuna. If a chalal with whether it's a chalal or it's a mitzri rishon, it's going to pass what? It's going to make a chalala, right? Mashen ken ger won't. Mashen ken ger won't. Says Gemara Rabbi Yehuda ger nami paisel b'biyasai. A ger also would make it. U'maisil b'matzad me'adina, and you learn it from this matzad. So in other words, this is his source. This is his source. that the son of a ger, we can learn it from Chalal and Mitzri, that what they're not brave Kal, Bita Psula, often the Avi ger. Okay, now we had two other sheets. Now I sent out a chart. Let's go through the chart. We'll go through the whole Gemara. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be geschmack as anything. Okay. Huh? Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Guys, you can see this? Yes. You could all see this, right? The guys on this, give me a thumbs up. You can see this? Okay. Okay, we have the first column. The first column is a ger marrying a Yisraelis. Okay, a ger marries Yisraelis. Does that make a chalol? Says Rabbi Yossi going down, ain't a chalala. Rabbi Yehuda just said, which says this is chalala, correct? Next, Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov says ain't a chalala, and Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai says ain't a chalala. So that's not a problem. Good? Guys got it? Next column. A ger marries a giyoris. What's the status of the child? Says Rabbi Yossi, ain't a chalala. Ain't a chalala. However, as we're going to see, they needed to have converted before conception. They had it, in other words, that before the conception of the child, they had have been converted. Rabbi Yehuda says the child is a chalala. Rabbi Yehuda is kal v'chayim, guys. Madach one side's a chalala. Certainly, if both are the sides of chalala, Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, who says one side is not a chalala, will be moida. If both sides, the ger v'giyaris, the child will be a chalala. And Shimon bar Yochai says no, ain't a chalala. Even born, right? If is even born, as long as the guy is converted before 3 years old, they're mutal kahuna. Before 3 years old, they're not as long as they're basula when it comes to the action. Now, what's the reason for these shittas? Okay, what's the reason? So here's a pasuk. Go upper left, guys. It's a pasuk in Yecheskel, Perek Mem Daled, pasuk Habez. I apologize for the smallness of it. It just simply was. I just made this, on a whim. Okay, says this column. Almana v'gerusha lo yikachu lahem l'nashim. An almana or gerusha, they shouldn't take for themselves wives. Ki im besulas mizera beis Yisrael, right? Ki im is in besulas mizera beis Yisrael. Very strange pasuk, guys. It's a very strange pasuk. Let's touch the pasuk. An almana and a gerusha, they shouldn't take for them as wives, but a besula from the zera beis Yisrael. And then the pasuk concludes, and the pasuk concludes, "V'almana asher tiyeh almana mikayin yikachu," and an almana that will be an almana from Kayin they should take. So, how does this pasuk is the pirish on all of the different shittas? So, what was the first shitta? The first shitta was Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi says that what the ger from Giyaris is not a chalala, right? Why? Because when it says Kiyim b'sulas mizera beis Yisrael, mishe nizru b'Yisrael, as long as they're conceived, mizera beis Yisrael, as long as you're conceived as a Jew, even if you were both goyim, but you magayer, you're good. Again, his focus is on the mizera beis Yisrael. As long as what the zera is from Yisrael, meaning you are giyarim, they're both geirim, it works. So that's the shita would explain why Rabbi Yossi is of the opinion they needed to have been converted before conception. Okay, the next shita was the shita Rabbi Yehuda, who said what? He was the most severe. Why does he hold that a ger giyaris is a chalol? Because he says alman gusha loyika ki b'zera Yisrael kol zera Yisrael. All the zera has to be from Yisrael. All the zera has to be from Yisrael. So therefore, guys, he holds in the first column a ger v'Yisraelis, guys. I don't think we even need the Kal v'chaymer anymore. We learned that a Kal v'chaymer from Cholol Mitzri, right? To learn that a ger is out. The way he's dashing the pasuk now, right? You don't need it anymore. Why? Because he's saying Kol Zerem Yisrael. You need both to be Jews. So if one's a ger, then it doesn't work. If one's a ger, it doesn't work. Okay? That's the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. What's the next opinion? Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov. He says a ger and a giyaris would be a chalala. Why? because he darshans mizera, afilu mixa zera. Even if part is fine, you're in a halala. So look at the column. Rabbi Yaakov says that Ger Yisrael is not a halal. Why? Because one of them was a Jew. What happens if both of them are not Jews? They're both Giyorim. Then you're a halala. Guys go across the board, right? Finally, there's the opinion of Shimon Bar Yochai. He focuses on the words ki and besulas mizera beis Yisrael. As long as the besulim came about before she was a Yisrael, she's good to go. And therefore, he holds across the board that ain't a halala. So those are the different opinions we're about to see in the Gemara. I'll go ahead. We'll see it inside. Okay, let's see how it goes. Okay. Rabbi Yosef ben Yaakov Oimer, Ger, Tanya. As long, again, we focused on the pasuk. As long as she was a basula at the time of 3, then she's Zer Yisrael. Shnemar. Okay, now he has a pasuk for Chola Taf B'Nashim by the war of Midyan. Any Taf B'Nashim under 3 years old, Hechiyu Lachem, go ahead and keep them alive for you. V'haloi Pinchas Hayimahem. Pinchas was among them. So keep them alive for you, meaning for Pinchas, who was the Kayin. Guys, by the war of Midian, Pinchas was the Kayin Meshuach Mulchama. He was a Kayin already. And what does it say? The Taf, keep alive for you. It's mashma, she's mutter to you. So it's mutter to you. So you have a raya that what? As long as she's less than 3, she's permitted. For Rabbanon who say no, she's not permitted. They're supposed to be what? They're supposed to be what for? They're supposed to be shvachos or wives for shvachos. My son Moshe called me up today. That says la avodim. Avodim are males. They killed all the males, right? So Rashash says it means wives for your avodim. Wives for your avodim. For your avodim. You're the kasha guys. If they wiped out all the males, how can you say that the Rabbanon are learning these children will be for your avodim and your what and your shvachos? They can only be shvachos. They can't be avodim. So Rashash says avodim meaning what? Shvachos for your avodim, not from Midyan, because you wiped them out. The kula mikra echad darshu, and they all dash from the same pasuk. We can dash pasuk now. Almana gerushala yikachu lehem lenashim ki im besulas misera beis Yisrael. Rav Yehuda Sava ad islay kol zerem Yisrael. So guys, what Rav Yehuda in his chart? Since any tzad geiris, you're going to be out. Rav Eliezer ben Yaakov Sava mizera, even if one is vafilu miksa zera. But what happened if both not out? That's what he said. Rabbi Yossi Sava misha nizra b'Yisrael. As long as she was conceived when she was Yisrael, you're in, right? Even what if it's what a ger v'giyaris. And Shimon Yochai Sava misha nizra b'Yisrael. As long as she hit the basulam when she was Yisrael, very geschmack. So goes very nice. Okay. Amalei of Nachman Rabbi says from Nachman to Rabbi. How many days? Hi Kra. This pasuk. Reisha b'Kohen Gadol. The first part of the pasuk was speaking about a Kohen Gadol because he said the word Almana. The Seifa was speaking about Kohen Hedyot. Because why did you say in the Seifa? Look at Rashi. The Ka'amar, 3 lines down. Besulois mizera beis Yisrael. The Almana asher tiyeh. Almana mi Kohen yikachu. An Almana from a Kohen you should take. Now, if it's a Kohen Gadol, you can't take an Almana. Guys. So the first part of the pasuk says what? It's speaking about what? Almana grusha lo yikachu, you shouldn't take. Who's that? And then the last part of the pasuk, but the kohen could take an almana. Who's that? Kohen Hedyot. So Fred the Gemara Kasha, Reisha b'Kohen Gadol, V'Seifa b'Kohen Hedyot, Amalei in. Yes. The Fred the Gemara v'Kosav Krahachi. Do we write a pasuk like this? That what? We cut and paste. Amalei in. The Chsiv, it says. It says by Mishkan Shiloi, the light of Hashem had not gone out yet. Eli hadn't died yet. Shmuel Shoichev beHeichel Hashem, and Shmuel was lying down in the Heichel Hashem. There's no way he's lying down the Azara, even though this was Shiloi. And then you put in Shmuel Shoichev im Kaimai, and Shmuel was lying in his place. So too over here, cut and paste. Now the pasuk says, "Valmona asher tiyeh almana mikayin yikachu." And almana, they'll be from him you'll take as a can a kohen hedya marry any almana, or it has to be almana from a kohen? Any almana. But if you look at the pasuk over here, the pasuk says what? U almana ashetiye almana mikoyen yikaku. Mashma that what? Mikoyen im Yisrael loy. He can marry any almana. Says the Gemara, no. What does it mean? Hachi kamar. Mikoyen yikaku. From which kohen can take an almana? Mishar kahana. From the kohen hedyet yikaku. But not what? Not the kohen hedyet. Not kohen gadol. Tanya nam yachi mikoyen yikaku. Mishar kohana for a kohen hedyet. They can take an almana yikaku, but not what from a kohen gadol. Rabbi Yehuda says, "Min hamasiyim lekahuna yikachu." From those that what I can marry into the kahuna. If I can marry the daughter, I can marry the almana. Guys, if I can marry the daughter, I can marry the almana. If I can't marry the daughter, I can't marry the almana. Right? If I can marry the daughter, I can marry the almana. If I can't marry, look at Rashi, fellas, go down. Min hamasiyim lekahuna. Almanas adam sheroi lisoy bita lekahuna yikachu. An almana of a man that I'd be roy to marry the daughter, I can marry the almana. Lamute almanas ger. This the muti almana of a ger. I can't marry. I'm a kohen. I can't, guys. A kohen can't marry the offspring of a ger, according to Rabbi Yehuda. Some merely can't marry the almana. Rabbi Yehuda tamei damel el the Ari Cheskel. Okay, we'll see this inside. Says the Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda tamei dama bas ger zacha kibas chalol zacha kol shatanoise bita atanoise almanasai. Since you're ger, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you won't be able to marry the bitai, so you won't be able to marry what? The almana. Rabbi Yossi afker shenasa giyaris would be permitted. Again, we said as long as the conception took place when they were gerim. Amra Hamnuna mishmei deula halacha k'Rabbi Yossi halacha like Rabbi Yossi. Dechin Amar Rabbi Rav Chana halacha k'Rabbi Yossi. Right, which means that you could marry the kohen could marry the offspring of a ger v'giyaris. However, umiyom shechar beis hamikdash nagu kahanim silsil be'atzmon. The kahanim were noyig a mila by themselves. Rebbe Eliezer and Yaakov to not marry the offspring of a ger v'giyaris. Amar Rav Nachman Amar Lehuna bolim loich. If they come to ask a shayla morim like Rebbe Eliezer and Yaakov not to marry the kohen should marry them. But if you do get married, they might see in some yemeni Rabbi Yossi. If they do get married, we don't. So I was thinking about this. We have some klali shas guys. One of the klali shas is Rabbi Yossi nemukai imai. Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta nemukai his as far as with him, and we pass like Rabbi Yossi. We also have a din Mishnah Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov kav v'naki. And if you want to tell me that this is not a Mishnah because it's a brisa, it's a Mishnah Masechta Bikurim. So you have conflicting over here. Now, there's a Ravu Megolis or the Megolis Hayom and other Svarim. He said one of the way to figure out is the one that's brought last. The one that's brought last. So using the klolim of Rabbi Yossi ben Yaakov and Rabbi Yossi Nemukaim would be a wash, correct? Each one has one going against them. But in our Mishnah, who's the last one who spoke? Look at our Mishnah. It's Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi's the last one who spoke. And so why did he get the last word? That was Rebbe's way of telling us what that psaks like him. So therefore, the Gemara is very geshmak, guys. Who's the halacha like? Not because Nemuka Imai, because he was the last one mentioned in the Mishnah. And why do they go like Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov? Because of the Maila that after the Churban bias. L'chari after the Churban bias. Fellas, why do they say Makbid after the Churban bias? When the Beis Hamikdash was standing, there was the Lishkas Hagazis, the Sanhedrin there. They would check out Yuchsin. They would know whether the person's a kohen or not. Mashenkin after the Churban, you wouldn't have them anymore. So the Kahanim were worried about their zera getting messed up. So they put this extra mila not to marry what? The produce of a ger and a giyaris. How we doing? We're good? Baruch Hashem. It's not easy Gemara. Okay, let's do a little more. Ha'imeh b'ni zeh mamzer, ain't an eman. If a person says that this my child is a mamzer, he's not believed. V'afilu shneim moedem ala uber. And even if both of them, they both made on the Urba Shebim Mechad Mamzu, Ain and Emon. They're not believed. Says Rashi, Mamzu Shanol Mechave Krisus, Ain and Emon. The Karavetzla, he's Pasaladis, Vein Kashalelav. He can't go ahead and he cannot testify on himself. Meiri says, Ain't other Mason that's my Russia. So I'm saying that. Yeah, I'm saying, but again, I don't know if what about a Metzias that. Let's say he wasn't aware of the Aveira. Let's say it was B'shoigeg. He thought he was with one woman. It turned out to be this woman. So maybe he's not making himself a Russia. Maybe he wants to make sure that people should know that the trials of Mamza, that it shouldn't get mixed in. It's a kasha. But in other words, in terms of belief, then that's universal, right? You don't believe the guy. You don't believe on. So therefore, he's not believed. And even if she joins the fray, they're not believed. Even they both say, Rashi says, and the Gemara is going to ask, what's the chiddush of the Sefer over the Reisha? Finally, Rabbi Yehuda says, Nemanim, they are believed. Now, what's my afilu shneim? What's the chiddush of the Sefer where they both admit rather than the Reisha when only the man admits? So let me boy Kamar. You're not. The Mishnah is going to. You don't need to tell me. Let me boy Ihu the like him lay that. And as he is not sure, just like she was with him, she could have been with another guy. How does he know that this is his child? To say that what it's a he doesn't know. She could have been with another man. So Lami boy is not believable. Elafilu ihi the Kimla. She's certain. She knows for sure. Let's say she knows this is the only person she was with. Nonetheless, Lami him. That's the chiddush. Lami boy heichad islay chesed kashrus. Maybe when he's born already, guys, he has a chesed kashrus, and therefore the father's not believed. Mashen came with the guys in the world. He has a chesed kashrus. Lami himna. Avafilu uber nami, the less they chesed kashrus, even an uber that's in the meimoy that hasn't been born yet, they haven't established the chesed kashrus, even their what lami him.
The fact that she says we don't ask that karbalat
Again, you have to see it. You have to. It's Gemara in Kesubas. If a woman comes along and says that, what's the matiba shalubaseh? Right, it's a different Gemara. She's not the same. You can't make a diet from it. It's a Mefurish mission in Kesubas. Right, a woman comes along and says that I'm pregnant, and shadi after the surah. There's a Gemara there. Okay, it says Gemara Yehuda Oimen Nemonim. It would be the Tanya. Pasuk says, "Ki es b'chot men has two eyes. One of Ahuva Snua. We said Snua is Snua in Shidduchim. She's a apostle. Ki es b'chot men has Snua Yakir. Lasses la pishnayim b'chol sheyimatzei loy. Yakir is Yakirin lacherim to inform other people the status of this child. Mikana Rabbi Yehuda Neman Adam Loimar. A person's believed to say B'ni B'char. Ukashem Shneman Loimar Zeh B'ni B'char. Kach Neman Loimar Zeh Ben Gerusha Zeh Mechalutza. He could say that what. It's a Ben Gerusha Ben Chalutza. I guess even though it's going to make him a Russia, right? Because Xeris Kosov says that even though you make himself a Russia, we can believe him. Guys, according to Meiri, right, that makes himself a Russia, obviously you have to say that Xeris Kosov overrides that. He's not believed. Why did the Bana do with Yaakov, guys? Speaking about when you need hakerel, in other words, he's believed to give pishnayim to this one. Says the word pshita. Why don't we need a pasuk to tell me? Guys, if he was just a monetary matter, he could give it to his. Believe me that this is a bechar and gets pishnayim because I wanted to give him pishnayim. I would have given him a present. It says the Gemara in the pasuk's chiddush is that something. It's a davar shel ba'olam. In other words, right? So you al sirusha, right? Al sirusha to recognize him if he comes b'meila, but to give you don't have a migo over here because you couldn't give him matana because you don't have it. That a person could be makna davar shel ba'olam. So even if it comes later on, you could believe to do it. So why do you need yakir for? You have migu that you could do it. Why? So believe him. It says it falls when he's a geisis. And the geisis, Rashi says he wouldn't have a migu. Okay, thank you for listening.
Anybody that we put up the book or those are the things that are that
Roy,
yeah.